Hello, everyone. Welcome to Bayern Now, the ultimate Bayern Munich fan channel. Kai Havertz, there's been another big twist. So I'm here with Lerm. His channel link will be in the description. But this is the second time we're recording this because there was a lot of mess ups in that. So, bro, Kai Havertz, look, Builder coming out saying that he wants to decide on his future by July the 4th, America's birthday. After that, he wants to basically know where he wants to go. And that has to also do with Leverkusen getting in the Champions League. And if Chelsea aren't in the Champions League, it could also add a little bit of a roadblock for Chelsea themselves. They're in a top four race. They have a lot of tough teams to play. Leverkusen also have one last game and one last opportunity to get into the Bundesliga's top four, which is the Champions League, which could mean that Havertz stays at Leverkusen for an extra season. I just want to get your thoughts, bro. Where do you think Bayern should be in a year's time? Should we be with Kai Havertz, signing him in a year's time, or should we go in for him right now? That's actually a question that I should have asked the other one. So
perfect. Yeah. I mean, for me, I've always wanted Kai Havertz. I wanted him 2 years ago, last year, and I want him again now. I think, he's a great talent. I think he's right up there with Sancho in terms of, talents for the future and players that are going to be great moving forward, I think. So, I think even with all the people that might depart Bayern, whether it's, contracts running out or loans are ending,
right.
I think Bayern's going to be okay if, whether they sign Havertz or they don't sign Havertz, but I think they're missing out on a huge talent, and they've done that a couple times in the past.
Yeah.
You know how that's turned out, and it's a missed opportunity. You don't want to see it happen.
Yeah. Remember when Bayern missed out on Sané in 2016 before he went to City, and also De Bruyne? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we missed out on De Bruyne, bro, when he was balling at Wolfsburg. We've missed out on these types of players that we know we should be signing. We know that's our player, not our, you know what I mean? But we should be getting on them as soon as possible. But we don't, because maybe we're trying to be as patient as possible, as financially situated as possible, instead of being a little bit more ruthless. So without Kai Havertz, look, we're probably fine, right? That's probably what you agree with.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, Muller's had a fantastic season, one of his best ever. But the good thing about Havertz for me is he can play multiple positions.
Right wing.
Right wing, his main is, like Muller's position of playing center attacking mid, center forward, but he can play everywhere. He's even played left wing. He's played striker. He's versatile. And that's, something with Bayern, who usually carry a small squad. That kind of thing is beneficial. It's a good trait to have. So,
do you think Havertz is one of those players that for the next 10 years, people will be looking at and going, oh, that's one of the players of the generation. That's, kind of like a Kylian Mbappe. That's, that's kind of like the Lionel Messi kind of player. That's kind of like the Eden Hazard. That's kind of like the Thomas Müller or Robert Lewandowski, where it's like they shaped an entire era at Bayern. Do you think he's that type of player?
I don't know if he's going to quite reach that level for me, like Mbappe kind of level. But I do think he is going to be one of the world's best players in his position. I think he has the potential to crack into the top five of, in the world at whatever position he ends up playing, because I think he has a lot of positive qualities. But
yeah. So I was thinking about this, right? So you know how Bayern are frugal. We like saving money. Mm-hmm. So imagine if Thomas Müller, when he broke through to the first team in 2010, I think, imagine if that Thomas Müller was at maybe Wolfsburg or Stuttgart, whatever other teams there were. Maybe imagine if Thomas Müller, not from our academy, but he was Müller, like he was that player. We were linked to him like we're linked to Kai Havertz, but he would have costed us 40 million in 2010. Do you think Bayern would have bought Thomas Müller if that was the case? The same way we're not buying Havertz?
I don't know. I don't think so. Maybe he never comes to Bayern and things work out totally different.
Yeah, that's that's actually what I've been thinking about, because we know Bayern are frugal, but sometimes we're too frugal, and in
an annoying way, in a very annoying way.
Yeah, because we know we have the money. I mean, you look at it, we're fourth for one of the richest clubs in the world. We're only 40 million behind Manchester United, and they're supposed to be megaton in terms of riches. We're making the money, but we just don't spending it. And on Lucas Hernandez too. Was that a one-off? What was that about with Lucas? I actually want to know if was that a good signing or was that just Bayern trying to, because Kovac was there, he was probably demanding a center back, and we just signed a player that won the World Cup. Do you think that was just impulsiveness?
I don't think it was impulsiveness, because I think you need to remember at the time, like where Bayern was, it looked like Boateng was out the door. You had Uli Hoeneß saying he's better off at a different club.
That is true.
Alaba was still a left back. Davies, we had no idea Davies would be anything.
I did.
I mean, then that's good.
I thought he would move to left back, become the best one in the world, pocket a bunch of Chelsea players. I thought, you know what? I have to credit myself for basically building Alphonso Davies. Nah, seriously, I'm playing, but still, I mean, that is the thing with Bayern, though. We're very good at these bargain signings. Kimmich, 8 million, Goretzka, free. We're good at these signings that we should be doing. But sometimes we know we should be signing up a certain player, no matter the price. Like Sane. I'm paying 100 million for Sane. Obviously, you can't just pay 100 million for him. You can't just pay 80 million. You have to factor in the fact that he's been injured for a while. But sometimes I feel like Bayern are maybe we're just sitting on a pot of freaking gold, smoking a cigar and begging for money. I just don't understand it sometimes. And also with Kai Havertz, he's going to cost about 100 million. Leverkusen's boss, coach, also said that, you know what, if any club wants Kai, they're going to have to pay a lot of money. He's going to cost them a lot of money. So Kai Havertz, if Chelsea don't get top 4, do you see, obviously, if they get top 5, there's potential that they could still be in the Champions League. Do you see him actually staying at Leverkusen and joining Bayern in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I think for the frugal nature of Bayern that you just mentioned, I think the only chance he comes to Bayern would be if he comes in 2021. But obviously that is going to depend on if Leverkusen can somehow manage a way to win on the last match day, have Gladbach lose, and they make the Champions League. And it's not likely. It would be exciting. It would be, I think, to Bayern's favor, because I think if this is going to happen and he's going to go to Bayern, I think it's going to be, like you said, in 2021. I don't think it's going to be this summer.
Right.
So I think we should root for that. root for Leverkusen on whatever day they're playing.
Bayer. I mean, not Bayern. Bayer.
Absolutely, yeah.
Without the end. Okay, so I was also looking into this. So if City get their ban upheld, that means that I think they'll probably get it dropped. I think there's no way UEFA don't. Yeah. So if City stay in the Champions League and Chelsea can't be in 5th position, while also, I don't think Chelsea get top 4 now. Watching United play, the way they were moving, I think United will win a lot of games. Chelsea will lose to City. Chelsea will lose to Liverpool. Chelsea will lose to Wolves. Wolves are in that top 4 race. They're on the same points as United. I think last day of the season, playing Wolves is going to be big. Chelsea will draw a lot of games, and they also don't have that squad depth that I see Manchester United having, or even Man City. They're also in that race. Or, you could have a Leicester City drop off. I don't really care about the Premier League race that much, but there's a lot of opportunities there for Chelsea to drop out of that top 4 race. If Chelsea were to drop out, and let's say, you know what, Kai Havertz wants to go anyways, do you think Bayern should intervene and be like, no, we're not going to just allow a player we want slip under our freaking noses again. We're going to sign him.
Yeah, I think if it comes down to that they should do whatever they can to sign him. It might hurt them right now in the current market and how everything is, and they're not bringing in the same money they do. But at the same time, like you said, we make the 4th highest revenue of any club in the world. They're going to make it up in the future. If it means that a couple transfer windows they really don't spend a lot, then that's going to happen. And maybe make a couple emergency signings if you have to, but. The good thing about Sane and Havertz is they're both young players, so I think it would give us the ability to do that. Maybe not spend so big for a couple windows after.
Yeah. And I like how you said Havertz isn't on the same level as Kylian Mbappe. First of all, he is. I think he's generational. Man, watching this guy play, I'm like, this guy is such a cold player. Like, he moves so differently to everyone else. It's almost like he's gliding across the pitch. I mean, there's a lot of Prem fans thinking that Bayern can't attract Havertz. Do you think the German agenda is coming back? I mean, Man City fans know. Goretzka, Kimmich are constantly talking about Sane in pub. Do you think that's coming if Havertz? Yeah.
I hope not. I hope it all works out. We don't have to worry about people talking about us on Twitter if he goes to Chelsea or something like that. I need it to happen. I don't really care how we do it. If we do tactics and we make people mad, like what happened with Hudson-Odoi, even though it didn't work out. Like, I don't mind. I don't mind that hate. Like, if we get the player we want, we got him. I don't care. But I hope it works in our favor.
I mean, I don't think people realize this with Chelsea fans. Callum Hudson-Odoi got like a 5-year contract. He rejected Bayern, or he didn't reject Bayern. Chelsea just really wanted to keep him. We offered them like 40 million or something. I think that was real, by the way. So if we offered that much money, and I think Chelsea were pissed off. They were angry because they were like, he's 18, Bayern, leave him alone. He's 18. Yeah. And then they gave him 120K a week to convince him to stay. How crazy is that? I mean, that's what Bayern could do. Not saying we'll do it to Leverkusen, but we'll just do it to Kai Havertz. We'll have all your German international teammates talking about Bayern and why you should join Bayern. I mean, the only German at Chelsea is probably going to be Werner and Rudiger. You think Werner is going to call Havertz and be like, each being joined? No, I don't know the German. Don't ask. Werner, Rudiger don't have that level in the German national team. Future captain of the German national team, Kimmich, calling you is far bigger and more important than Rudiger calling you, who doesn't even play for Germany that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And Bayern being the biggest club in Germany by far and all that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of these Prem fans in these comments, first of all, they think, why would Havertz want to stay in this crap league? I'm just so confused by that statement because he is in this crap league, but Bayern's a much bigger club than Chelsea. Why would you want to play at Stamford Bridge, 41,000 people capacity, quiet as hell? Might as well just be Stamford Library because it's quiet. So do you think Havertz is probably thinking to himself, hey, I want to play in front of fans. I want to play in front of the German rocking fans, 75,000. I want to play against Real Madrid Champions League semifinal. Is he considering that, or is he probably just going, I want play time. I'm going to Chelsea?
I mean, I think he's going to get play time if he goes to Bayern, Chelsea. He's going to get guaranteed play time wherever he goes. Mm-hmm. I think the one thing that Bayern does offer that Chelsea doesn't is, you're guaranteed Champions League every year.
Yeah.
You're guaranteed quarterfinals, usually at the minimum. Last year it didn't happen. We played Liverpool, their best team probably ever, and It just didn't happen. But for the most part, you're in the quarters, you're in the semifinals, at least of the Champions League, and you're playing against, the top teams, and you're guaranteed that. Chelsea, I think he's definitely thinking about that because all the statements and all the news that seem to be coming out is that that's what he wants. Like, he will stay at Leverkusen, but it takes them being in the Champions League. Like, he wants to be playing on that top, the top tier of games and just on the biggest stage. And
I think he wants to be playing Champions League. But also, if Bayern Munich win the Champions League this year, why the hell would he actually choose to go to Chelsea over Bayern if Bayern won the Champions League? Like, you're playing for a Champions League winning team. And a lot of people point this out, or someone pointed this out to me. But when you win the Champions League, look at Liverpool. Liverpool weren't as known. All of a sudden, 1 billion fans.
They're like the biggest team,
they're the biggest team in the world. They got all these followers. Mo Salah has 40 million followers. I'm like, you didn't have these 40 million before you won the Champions League. Relax.
Yeah.
But the Champions League adds this thing. I mean, Bayern's living off of winning the Champions League 7 years ago. We're still living off of 2013 Champions League because it's the biggest trophy, and it's going to be even harder. And if we win it, do you think that will convince Havertz and you'll be like, I want to join?
I mean, I would hope so. I would think so. Mm-hmm. If he really wants that and he wants to be on that level of like Mbappe and like looked in the same light, it's going to have to be like that. He's going to have to join like the best clubs. He's not going to want to join somebody who's fighting for a Europa League spot, because there are good teams. Like, we like to make fun of the Premier League, but there are teams that, like, usually there's a couple surprise teams, and you have the big six. So usually there's a fight, and you're not guaranteed like a Champions League or even a Europa League.
Right.
So even though Chelsea's made good signings, we can debate whether Werner is actually a good player or not. We'll find out. But you're not guaranteed that with Chelsea, like I said, the same way you are with Bayern.
I think Werner is just a freaking stripper that misses big chances against big teams. He's so unreliable. Do you remember those 2 misses? Open goals against us.
Oh, the one at Allianz Arena.
I still can't believe how he's. I would have scored that if I was blind. Stevie Wonder. I would have scored that. All right.
That was worst miss of the season.
Right. Okay. So the whole Thiago could be sold thing. I think Bayern are probably like, I would be open to selling Thiago. Not that I'm saying that's what Bayern could be thinking. Because if you get like 60 million for Thiago, or even at least 50 million, you can afford Werner. Not Werner, Havertz. You can definitely afford Havertz. Do you think if Bayern were to really sell Thiago, they would use that money to fund Havertz?
I mean, I think that's the only way you can really justify it, right?
Especially this season, right?
Yeah, they're obviously different kind of players, but still at the same time, like, you need a certain amount of quality players in your midfield, and they're strong there. But losing a player like Thiago, when you're already losing Javi Martinez and Coutinho, you got to replace that talent somewhere. So I think if you're gonna sell Thiago, which I certainly hope doesn't happen,
right,
but I can see it happening, I think you definitely have to reinvest that money in Havertz.
God, if you sell Thiago, Alaba could leave, but I don't think you will. I think Alaba just
all comes down to a contract. We'll see what happens. But
what if Alaba just wants to be a captain or something? Or I
think he wants to play midfield. I feel like he's wanted to play midfield.
No, why do all our defenders want to be in the midfield? Kimmich, our club. Kimmich was like, you know what? I'm the best right back in the world. I'm done with this. I'm going to midfield. And Thiago had to make room. Goretzka had to make room when we had a working midfield. Remember last season, our midfield was one of our biggest freaking strengths. Our defense was poor. We had very slow defensive plans. We didn't press well, but our midfield was strong. Thiago and Goretzka, that was our strong midfield. And Kimmich was like, nah, let me just change that up.
Yeah.
So if we sell Thiago, you say we could fund Havertz this season because I think if Havertz waited a Leverkusen for an extra year, he waited for Bayern. I think we definitely get him, whatever the price is next year. And the positive thing is with this team is it's kind of weird because maybe like a few months ago, maybe beginning of the season when Muller was crap every week, we would have probably been so open to getting Kai Havertz. Like right now, we were probably like, sell Muller, get Havertz in. Not everyone. I wasn't really on that sell Muller thing. But people were open to selling Muller. But all of a sudden, Muller's playing well. Is this a great problem for Bayern?
I mean, if you bring in Havertz and Muller is still on top of his game, that's a great problem, in my opinion.
We have too many good problems. I mean, Thiago can't get a game now because Goretzka and Kimmich are world class right now.
Yeah, but you know who we are. We're Injury FC. And we've been insanely healthy this year, and 2 years in a row, it ain't going to happen. So
I mean,
you need the depth, especially in the midfield. It's so important.
Thiago has played like 75% of the games started.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that wasn't because he was just so good. It was because we also got a lot of injuries, and he was actually so good too. So kind of both. I mean, look, if Bayern Munich decide, you know what, we're never going to get an injury, then we don't need Havertz. But because I know Coman will get injured for 5 months or 2 months or a month and a half, because I know Serge Gnabry will like break his back in training trying to hug Kimmich or something, because I know these things, I feel like Kai Havertz could definitely come in and be a starter for us. Like, he's almost guaranteed time because Coman's going to get injured and so will Gnabry. And he can play as a winger, right?
Yeah. Like I said before, he's played on the left wing even. He's played striker. He's played right mid and right wing. So he could play a lot of positions. let's say a surprise loan of Xerxes happens, he could play striker minutes for Lewandowski every now and then. He could play right mid, left mid,
Right.
minutes. He could play all over the place. And who knows if Thomas Muller is going to repeat this year? He hasn't had a year like this in a while. So,
I mean, that's a good point. A lot of people on this channel, no, not a lot, actually, maybe like 3 or maybe like 10 people are on this train of let's get a backup striker. Let's get a backup striker for Lewandowski. And I'm just like, well, Lewandowski's playing the way he is. You don't need a backup striker for him. But they do have a little bit of a point. So if Havertz comes in, you remember the games Lewandowski was injured. We had to play Zagzi. And of course he did well because you're playing in a Bayern first team. You'll get a lot of chances. You'll get good opportunities to prove yourself. But if we had Havertz, we have a code team right there. And guess what? If Havertz could play on the right, then he'd probably be playing on the right anyways. But at the same time, if Lewandowski was out, he would just go up top and we have different wingers to bring in and play on the right. Mm-hmm. Could you see that happening?
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. And like you said, Lewandowski is in great form, and probably will continue next year. Yeah. But if he was to get hurt, Havertz is a striker option. Even Gnabry is a striker option. Like, we have people who do have experience there. And like I said before, having a small squad, like, you need players that can play multiple positions. And that's something Havertz can do. And Bayern typically keeps a smaller squad of senior players. So
yeah,
it's just another reason to want him. Yeah.
So we're coming towards the end of this video, but it's been amazing. Let's just quickly do. What are your predictions for the Champions League? Because a lot of Bayern fans are confident, but this isn't good. Confidence in the Champions League usually ends in bad freaking ways.
Yeah, I know. Because I felt the same way last year. Going home against the Liverpool game, we don't need to talk about. But
I thought we'd win like 2-0, 2-1.
Yeah.
Go through, and then we'll, ease our way through, because that was the easiest Champions League final route ever. There weren't that many good teams. Madrid was out of form. So what about this season?
I mean, for this season, the one team that I think is good enough to win it, but due to like the whole coronavirus thing and like their layoff, is PSG. I don't think they're going to be able to make it because they're going to have all this time off. They're not going to have played in forever. So
we'll have a 12-day break. Our players will have a 12-day break.
Yeah, I mean a 12-day, but PSG's been off since March, right? So that's been months for them. I think I do think Bayern's a favorite. One of the top 2 favorites, especially with Liverpool out. I think the other favorite is whoever ends up winning the Man City Real Madrid tie. I think Man City, their defense is a little questionable, but they have great attacking and midfield options and a very good goalie. And Real is back to, I feel like, being Real. Like last year, like you said, they had an off year, but they're back, in my opinion.
I think I'm looking around Madrid games. They are so relentless. They're actually really energetic again. I think, but Man City could thrash them and go bottle it somewhere else.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what about Leipzig, bro? I feel like Leipzig gets a lot of disrespect, but they're actually a very sick team.
They can make it to the semis, I think, depending on who they play. There's a lot of good teams left, but
they could play Atalanta, bro, and that would be Leipzig are the strongest defensive team, I think, in all of Europe. The way they defend, I think they're the best, like 1v1, everything defending. But Atalanta are a very good goal-scoring team. I mean, it'd be about who can do what they can do best. Like, if Leipzig can defend better, they'll win. If Atalanta can attack better, they'll win.
And they score a ton of goals. So and Leipzig has the ability to do that too.
I mean, Leipzig's the only team we haven't won against this season.
Yeah. So that would scare me a little bit, playing them, and obviously playing Atletico Madrid would scare me.
Oh, damn. Oh,
if I could go my whole lifetime without ever playing them again in the Champions League, I would.
Bro, I hate just thinking about playing Atletico, because right now they're third in La Liga. They're back. They were sixth, like, before the restart.
Yeah. They find a way. They always find a way.
Now they're back. They're back to their parking the bus, getting 5-0 wins, 1-0 wins all over the place. They're back to clean sheets. And they also beat Liverpool, the last year's winners. Imagine Atletico Madrid are the team, the boogie team that we didn't even consider, but they just win.
Oh, I don't count them out, man. As long as Diego Simeone's like their coach and that he has his system in there, and they are a tough team to beat. They really are.
Breaking them down. Look at Liverpool. Liverpool created chances to win, but Atletico is such a mental battle.
Well, they have the best goalie in the world. I think Manuel Neuer is one of the best for sure. He still is, but Oblak, in my opinion, is the best goalie.
Oblak. I mean, look, Lewandowski. I think the winners of the Champions League is going to be the team that wants it the most, and I think that Bayern squad, every single player wants it. Lewandowski probably is like, this is the time, this is the year to freaking win this. Look at the way he played injured versus Chelsea, just so he could be involved. Like he played, he was injured in like the 20th minute. He kept going because he wanted to be helping us. And I think he wants it so bad. He wants to win the Ballon d'Or. He wants to win all these trophies. Thiago needs it. I mean, if Thiago doesn't win the Champions League here, Bill, they're going to rip into him after he leaves us. Oh, God, they're going to hate him so much. So I think, so do you think we win it then?
I hope so. I do think we're going to make the finals. I think we're going to make the finals. I think
that's even hard to predict.
I know. It all depends who you play, of course, but I think we're a top 2 favorite. So I say, obviously, depending on matchups, it's probably us versus the winner of Man City Real and maybe even Atletico Madrid, like I said. I could see them sneaking in. Finding a way.
To get Atletico so bad. Oh, they would. Remember, Pep teams aren't good with Atletico, but I think that's the end of the video. Thanks for coming on.
Of course.
Check you out on Twitter. You tweet a lot. So, So thank you, everyone, so much for watching. Mia San Mia, and peace. Okay.
All right.